welcome to the Six Rings Cane Show, a show dedicated to Miami Hurricane sports, featuring the legendary Larry Bluestein, Jazz Santana, Vish, and Danny Gillette. Let's go Canes.
Hey, welcome, good evening, and this is definitely a special show. We probably won't be focusing too much on Miami Hurricanes football today, but we'll talk a little bit about Canes, Heat, Miami Dolphins, whatever it is that we get to talk about. But the most important thing is this is the Hurricane Ian charity drive show, as we want to do our very best to support everybody in Southwest Florida and aid in the relief efforts over there. I mean, they got absolutely smashed. And so this was really, really, really important to everybody in the network and to us as well. I think that bringing the community together and having this show, although it's a Friday, I know a lot of people are out. So whoever joins on, we are really appreciative. Make sure that you guys go ahead and donate. The description is there in the link, that little marquee that's scrolling underneath. And we will let you know which, as a matter of fact, the charities that we want to talk about, Vish, if you want to kind of let them know which ones we will be donating to in the Hurricane Ian relief efforts.
So as Jazz said, this is a charity stream, not the type of hurricanes we like talking about, but a lot of people in our community and our adjacent community are hurting. So what we tried to focus on is local to the Southwest Florida area versus national charities that might take overhead and all that. So and there are links in the description, and I also put them in the YouTube chat, so you'll see them there. But one is Friends in Service Now. They're a food bank specifically for Sanibel and Kativa Island, which I think, if you've seen any of the pictures, they got it probably worse than anywhere else. Another food bank is the Harry Chapin Food Bank, which is a food bank for Southwest Florida. And then the third one we identified was Valerie's House. So this is a support home for children going through that are grieving, lost parents, things like that. And unfortunately, there are fatalities out of this storm. So I think there will be some children that have lost loved ones and parents that could definitely use that support. So those are the charities we identified. Yeah, if you can click through the links I put in the chat and in the description, go straight to the donation pages. Again, we spent quite a bit of time making sure that the charities we selected were going to pass most. There's always overhead and stuff they have to pay for, but we're going to mostly pass the money through to the people that need it. And
yes, it's all going to go directly to them.
The charities, and the super chat as well. If you donate through the super chat, we will be taking that money and donating it. So that's another option you have. So anything you can spare for our neighbors in the Southwest, we'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. We've got a lot to cover in a short period of time today. We want to bring on our first two guests on the show. If we can go ahead and bring them in, a little crossover action today.
We got to behave the CEOs here. So let's pretend like we know what we're doing.
That means you don't have to behave. Actually,
that means you have your worst behavior.
I don't know. We tend to run up against Heat shows, so I don't know how much of our product you've seen. So I'm kind of,
I know. I've seen. No, you're trying to hide. Well, I'll tell you what. The team's doing a good job to get you to hide your stuff from me. But other than that, no. I've heard the show. You wouldn't be on the network if I didn't like it.
So Ethan tells me, by the way, we also got Lex here from Miami Flow and the Average Canes Fan Show. What's going on, Lex? How you doing, my man? Thanks for coming on.
What? We're blessed. We got smashed here in Kissimmee, Florida, near Disney World. But man, the flooding and the trees that are down are nothing compared to the West Coast. And we have a lot of friends out there. And it's what you guys are doing tonight, man. It shows the kind of people you guys are. I appreciate you guys having me here. And whatever we can raise, man, let's help out the people that really need it, because it's going to be years of rebuilding. So Absolutely. It's an honor to be on here with you guys tonight. I apologize about the dog; he's a little needy.
No. It's a Friday night. It's a Friday night to
donate just because the dog's cute, basically.
I know, right?
Yeah, someone throwing some money for the dog.
And by the way, the Miami Flow Media will be doing their fundraisers as well and all their shows. So make sure you guys keep it locked.
All right, so we got wait, I got to cut
on
you
those
off
shows.
because there's a you know, if you're
There he
familiar
is.
with our show at all, it no better way to kick off the
Look at that,
fundraiser
Gary.
with the
Appreciate it.
spicy nuggets from Gary here.
Appreciate it, Gary. Appreciate it, man. By the way, so Ethan tells me, hey, man, you guys are gonna have a hard time now that Miami got their their butts whooped to Middle Tennessee. I go, are you kidding me? This is gonna make the show even that much better.
Well,
Apparently, people like to see me on a stream depressed and just like on the verge of tears because we got good views on the post game. So
yeah, I mean, there's only two ways. Somehow we didn't have a post game off Dolphins yesterday, which I guess we should fire the CEO. I don't know how the hell that happened after what occurred with Tua, but no, you're right. I mean, usually apathy is what you don't want. So typically, it's either if the team's really good, or in the case of the Canes so far this season, the team's really bad. You're going to end up with a lot of people interested in it. So,
we actually got to ride both waves because everyone was so excited at the beginning of the year. We got the high and we
didn't last very long.
We certainly hit the low. So
no, that was whatever it was that made us. Anyways, yeah. So
we got the Miami.
There we go.
Appreciate it.
There we go. Appreciate it, man.
I do want to mention, I can't do it now because I'm actually on the show, but we'll count for $100 donation from 5 Reasons. So just add that to the mix. So we'll take care of that when we're finished. But whatever people can do here tonight, is appreciated. We obviously appreciate everybody liking, subscribing the channel because it allows us to do some things like this. And we want to partner with, like Miami Flow Media and all these other outlets that are doing great work. I mean, I think you saw this week and you never hope for anything to fold, but you saw this week with the folding of $7.90 the ticket, which Jazz and I are very familiar with because we were working there at the exact same time, different parts of the building. God, that was a depressing building with no windows. But you can see we're kind of where traditional media is going, and so it's outlets like Miami Flow Media and what we're doing, Miami Heat Beat, others in the market, Locked On, etc. that are kind of taking the mantle here, and so we appreciate it's kind of grassroots, and so these things are grassroots. We can't promote them maybe like the Miami Herald could or Channel 7, but we obviously want you guys to help where you can, and we'll make sure it gets to the right place. So that starts. So Vish, what do you want to talk about today? We're not going to talk about your Cowboys. I mean, I don't think I don't know where we want to go.
We don't have to talk about the Cowboys. Lex, are you a fan? Who are you a fan of in the NFL, man?
So I've always been a Tampa Bay Bucks fan. Always been.
Well, you're from up there, right? You live up there.
Yes,
you're the one.
I will support the Jaguars and the Dolphins, of course, unless they're playing the Bucks for any reason. But different divisions, so you really don't get that. But yeah, man, Bucks fan, Orlando Magic, ticket holder for the Magic. So, and of course, my Braves are playing tonight against the Mets.
The Braves, the mighty Braves. I mean, listen, we don't have baseball down here, so we don't know.
There is a big Braves contingent because it was the closest team for a long time, and so there are Braves roots all over Florida, which I did not realize until I moved there. I'm like, there's a lot of Braves.
Yeah, there's a lot of Braves fans down here. You're right.
Yeah, I want to say thank you right there, Kane P66. That's my cousin right there.
Oh, nice. Got family in the house.
Throw a couple of bucks in there if not do it for you, Kane. But that's my cousin who lives in Miami. So I appreciate him showing support for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We appreciate that. Max is in the building. I don't know if he's still on, but he's in the building somewhere. By the way, speaking of baseball, my team sucks right now, so I'm not even paying attention, to be honest.
Is it the Marlins or the Red Sox?
I'm a Red Sox fan, man. Yeah,
I didn't even know. I just took a wild guess.
That's a good guess, though. Good guess. Yeah, we're pretty terrible right now, so I'm not even paying attention, man. It's brutal. It's brutal.
Well,
I feel like
speaking
all
of,
my teams are letting
baseball, the reason I'm not home and I'm at my brother's place because I just watched my nephew's baseball team and they lost 10-1. So things aren't going well. But
baseball is definitely not the topic.
I will say it's a totally different experience. It was cold. I was freezing. I'm like, how are you playing baseball at this? And they were all fine. And I'm just like,
well, you're up in DC, right? Yeah,
I'm in DC. Yeah, I'm in the Maryland suburbs right now.
Oh, he's right next to
It was very cold.
Yeah. He lives close. I think you live close to A Black. He lives up there.
Yeah, he lives in Northern Virginia. Yeah, he's across the river. Yep.
Gotcha. Real quick around the horn here, Ethan. I mean, so what's your take on what happened last night, man? Because I know there's a lot of mixed emotions and there's a lot of internet internet MDs out there, which obviously got everybody's blood boiling around here. But
Yeah.
tough situation, tough thing to watch. But I mean, it's kind of hard to judge as well. So
Well, that's the whole point, right? That's my take on it. Is that my take on it is that Twitter, in particular, has created this cesspool where essentially everyone is an expert on absolutely everything. And the reality is that I don't know, and sometimes it's okay to say you don't know. Okay, I mean, my assumption from covering sports in this market for almost old as fuck, 30 years now, okay, is that the Dolphins would not have put him on the field, their future, okay, not just him. Forget looking out for his best interests, which of course, having covered the Miami Heat and seeing how they handled Alonzo Mourning and how they handled Chris Bosh and basically kept two guys off the court who wanted to be on the court, right? For all the thing about how Pat Riley's cutthroat. I mean, he saved them from themselves, okay? So I don't know if the Dolphins necessarily were going to save Tua from himself, but I would think at the very least they would try to protect their investment. I mean, he is an investment for them. He is the number 5 overall pick in the draft. He's due for an extension in about a year and a half. And he's also happened to be leading the AFC in most passing categories. Why would you want to get him permanently concussed? Okay, what is their motive for that? To win one Thursday night game? Really? Okay. And so I'm just looking at it from that, and I'm saying that the assumptions that are being drawn here by some who mostly seem to be outside of this market with a bone to pick with Miami for whatever reason, and you guys cover the Canes, you know what that is. I cover the Heat, I know what that is. And it's now translated to Tua has become the lightning rod for the Dolphins for reasons I don't understand, because he's not polarizing. He's never done anything wrong, okay? I mean, he basically is a model citizen who typically says the right thing. So why has he become this lightning rod for the rest of the media around the country? I don't get it, okay? I understood when I covered LeBron why he was a lightning rod. I would understand if Jimmy Butler was a lightning rod. I do not understand why Tua is a lightning rod. So you start there that people are predisposed now to have an opinion on everything related to him. But to have the opinion that the Dolphins would throw him out there in that circumstance if he didn't go through all the protocols makes no sense. And I've got friends of mine from around the country who are not Dolphin fans who are texting me, how could the Dolphins do that? I'm telling my friends, how do you know what they did? How do you know what they did? Okay, how do you know how the test came out? And by the way, the doctor who came out today, the doctor who basically cleared him was not a Dolphins doctor. So it's a weird situation. I know it looked terrible. I know it's highly coincidental that it happened in 2 straight games. And there's a larger conversation to have here about Tua's brittleness in general. Okay, anybody can have a head injury. But let me just tell you this, okay? We're making a huge deal of this. I covered Zach Thomas's entire career, okay? And was very close to Zach, okay, who should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. Yeah. Okay, and I stood in front of Zach, okay, because Zach was the most cooperative person with the media that I've ever encountered, okay? When Zach basically got cut by the Dolphins, he called 6 of us to make sure we had everything we needed from him. That's who he is, okay? When he didn't reach me the first 2 times because I was teaching a class, he tried a 3rd time, okay? So I had a very close relationship with Zach. I would stand in front of him in the locker room and know he was concussed, okay, literally. Like, I mean, he couldn't remember anything. He was repeating himself. He would stand there in front of his locker for 30 minutes. I remember a goal line stand against Atlanta at home, which he was unbelievable. He had 3 of the 4 stops on the goal line stand, okay, in a game that they won by a touchdown. And he was not in his right mind. There's no question to me Zach had dozens of concussions, unfortunately, okay? And so I don't understand now, okay, and I know CTE and everything that's come out now, but why all of a sudden now we have CNN covering this today? I mean, literally, CNN was devoting segments to this. Why is Tua this kind of lightning rod? Why are the Dolphins this kind of lightning rod? And not only is this being covered in a way it's never been covered before, but the assumptions are being drawn before we know anything at all. And I think some of it is because people don't trust Steve Ross, who, by the way, is not even supposed to be involved with the team right now, okay, for another few weeks, another couple weeks. And so my take in is I'm going to wait to see the investigation, guys, okay? I'm going to wait to see what comes out of that. And then, just like there was an investigation of Steve Ross and trying to get Tom Brady and trying to get Sean Payton, then when we get to the end of it, I'll make an assessment if they did something wrong. But right now, guys, I don't know what it is. He came back in the game after he was supposedly concussed against Buffalo, and he led them to a victory. And I'm not saying no guy has ever done that, but we talked to him in the media room afterwards.
Right.
And he seemed fine. I've interviewed guys who seemed much, much worse than that. So I'm not a doctor, but neither is Twitter MD. And so that's where I come down on it. And I know that, and I know we're going to bring Alex in. I know that, the Heat, I heard, I left the Bahamas yet last night. I was with the Heat for 4 days, spent a lot of time with them. And I know, hey, Alex, and I know that Erik Spoelstra said today that he didn't like the drawing, the jumping to conclusions. I think, to me, it's been too much over the past 12 hours. It's been 24 hours. It's been frankly ridiculous in my opinion.
Yeah, I think at this point we're all just. I mean,
I do think the other thing going on here is we all take a lot of joy, and frankly, a lot of us, are heavily invested financially or emotionally in this sport that is inherently very dangerous, and the people we cheer on are always one play away from having a catastrophic problem. And we like to forget about that when we're watching these games, because we're cheering, we're having a good time, and then the next thing you know, we'll play later, it's like all the players are kneeling on the field, and this happens, not frequently, but it happens. And I think we so much would rather have it be the Dolphins' fault, not the game, not just the inherent nature of the game. It's so much more. If the Dolphins did something wrong, then we can say that's because the Dolphins did that, and the sport I'm enjoying is not causing this.
I think something that's really bugged me today is that, I've seen a lot of people like trying to blame Mike McDaniel for this somehow. It's like it's very odd because even if, and I agree with pretty much everything Ethan said, by the way, so I'm not going to repeat everything he said about the protocol and how it went down. But so even if people out there do think that, the protocol is either flawed or, the Dolphins somehow did something nefarious and didn't follow it properly, I would say if you're looking at people to blame, the head coach would be pretty low down that list, right? If there was a problem with the medical exams, wouldn't you maybe blame the doctors or the trainers before you would start blaming the head coach? Because, I've been watching McDaniel the last couple of days, what he had to say right after the game and then what he had to say today. And he seems like just rocked to his core. Like he was breaking out in tears today. And it's not because he feels like he did anything wrong. It's just because he hates to see, a human being suffering and at risk the way that Tua was last night. So it's this weird thing. And I can pick up on something that Ethan said. People around the country don't necessarily cover the Dolphins who are reacting to this. I've got friends who are, pretty far from the Dolphins organization, including people who are like into sports but don't really watch the NFL that closely. And I see them commenting on like, oh, what a terrible organization the Dolphins are. Like that's the narrative. And I think, maybe they've earned some of that because you've been involved in enough gates as the Dolphins have been in recent years that nobody gives you the benefit of the doubt anymore.
I think that's really fair. And I want to let Lex get in and everybody get in. But I think it is. Look, I understand the perception about the Dolphins, okay, because I've been part of that team criticizing them, media team for the past 20 years. I mean, I stopped covering the Dolphins because I couldn't take it anymore, frankly. Like I mean, you're just covering pointless season after pointless season. I mean, we haven't seen a playoff win since December 30th, 2000, not 2009, not 2010, 2000. Okay, Lamar Smith, 209 yards. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, literally, their playoff win drought is old enough to drink. Okay, I mean, if it got carded a few months ago, they would have let it into the bar. Okay, that's how long it's been. So I understand the frustration, and you've had Bullygate, and you've had Cocaine Gate, and you've had how many gates have they had? Okay, I mean,
Cocaine Gate was fun.
Cocaine and Flores Gate. Okay?
I mean, Cocaine Gate is just like
costume out of it, man, for crying out loud.
Chris Forster, and look, you had the 1-win season, okay, and you had Nick Saban going back to Alabama. I'm not going to coach the Alabama. okay, because his wife hated it here in South Florida because there were too many Spanish people at the Publix by my apartment. Okay, like I look, there have been plenty of scandals with the Miami Dolphins. I understand it. Steve Ross is not a good owner. He spends money. He's a good owner in that regard. He's built a beautiful stadium. Thank you, Landon, so much. We appreciate that.
Landon, my brother, appreciate that. By the way, he's an FSU fan. He went to
and
FSU.
That team is better this year. But
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
yeah.
That just shows how good of a person he is.
That's right.
And we'll discuss that week.
I
But
mean,
look,
the money's not going to the it's going to hurricane relief, not the Hurricanes.
Yeah,
Well,
still, he's still Seminole.
Well,
I mean, come on.
Vish, the NIL money didn't work. Okay, so let's say we got to try something else. But look, the thing is, I understand that perception. I get it. Okay, but I also, in the little that I know of this head coach and the way he's changed the culture, do we think he doesn't care? I mean, this is the exact point that I think Alex made. Do we think he does not care about his players? Because I've gotten the exact opposite vibe, okay? I think he cares about his players a lot. I think that's what he's built this whole honeymoon on so far, is him putting his arms around Tua. So what was he doing? Putting his arms around Tua to throw him out there to get him concussed for life? Like, that's what he's doing? No, I'm sorry. And I'm telling you this, Eric Spoelstra is the same as him. This is why I talked to Spo about McDaniel. They're both incredibly empathetic people. They're incredibly empathetic people. So the idea that McDaniel would throw him out there, okay, I'm not going to mention other coaches who've worked in this market, okay, or been GMs like Bill Parcells, who would have thrown somebody out there in that particular situation. This guy is not that, okay? So to me, it's ridiculous to blame the Dolphins. Think the Dolphins had any malice in this? No. Incompetence, perhaps? Then you're blaming the medical professionals. And
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm not ready to go there. Somebody wants to file a lawsuit, then we'll see.
Well, I spent so much time on Twitter for the past 12 hours that I'm now a medical expert. I've got a diploma. I performed 3 surgeries today because, I've got all my certifications now. We all know more than the actual doctors do
Yeah,
now.
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, Ethan, we're gonna get you out of here because you're hogging up the whole thing, and this is not about you, Ethan.
We
all
haven't
right?
even talked Heat, so I better get out of here now. Thanks,
let's
Bob.
not-
Please,
let's not
No,
do
if we do that, we'll never get anybody else. We got Tony backstage.
If we do that, we'll get 1,000 more viewers. Here's what we're gonna do.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Shots fun. I don't know about that. At this point, it's a Friday.
No,
night.
actually, it would be more Dolphins than Heat right now.
Yeah,
The Heat,
at this
they
point.
didn't do anything this offseason.
I feel like all these are
say,
shots because, it's also football season for the Hurricanes. But
Yeah, thanks, man.
That's
Thanks,
true.
Ethan. Appreciate it, man.
That's a good point. Donate money to a good cause. We'll make sure it gets to the right place. I'm getting the hell out of here.
Thanks, CEO. Get out
See
of
ya.
here.
yeah.
Bye.
See ya.
All right,
All right.
I'd like to get Lex's thoughts on this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring Tony in as
The
well.
one thing that nobody said, and I've seen on social media, guys, when the hit first happened last night, I'm no medical expert. So when you see it live, I thought he actually landed on his hand first. So when you saw his hand like this, I was like, oh my God, he has like 2 broken fingers. Because, until you slow it down, I'm no medical expert. I didn't know if your head does this or your nerves. So then when it got slowed down and explained to me, I've seen a lot of people bringing down, I forgot who made the tackle. People saying it was a terrible hit. It was dirty hit. I've seen it all over social media. I don't agree with that. I mean, he made the tackle, he rolled over, and he it was any defensive lineman hits a quarterback, that's what's going to happen. I don't think he had any malicious intent to hurt Tua. And it scares me because now a couple of, he got hurt in college a couple of times. Now he's been hurt now. When do you tell yourself it's time to hang it up, walk away? You've made millions. You could easily be some kind of broadcaster. You guys all know that. Guy's smart enough to be a broadcaster and time to just walk away. Because there's a lot of players that did not walk away on time. And unfortunately, we know how their lives ended. And that's the biggest thing.
Well, that's right. That's a lot of things that these guys are not talking about because us as fans, like the average crazy fan, right, just wants to see him play football. They just want to see he started off hot. He's looking really good. We don't care if he has a concussion or not. Whatever. I mean, obviously we care, right? We understand how the game is now. We understand, how important it is to really keep these players safe. Okay. However, the average fan, Lex, the average fan, doesn't
watch his show on Miami Flow Network.
Yeah. By the way, he's on Mondays at 5:30 now. So
Yeah.
it's tough to get those guys, to think a different way, to kind of change their perspective on how violent this game is, and that these guys put their life on the line every single day. Because one of those, as Vish mentioned earlier, one of those hits could wipe you out and you're done, man. You're absolutely done. And my first thought was, Lex, you brought up a great point. My first thought was he landed on his, on his hand, on his elbow. So
I didn't know that
maybe he hurt a nerve. No, but I thought maybe it was a nerve in his elbow that caused his finger to do this. And I said, hold on a second. He's got it in both hands. That's neurological, right? At that point, you know he's concussed there. So,
well, do you know who you can compare that hit to? The one that just happened to Will Mallory, where he landed on his neck.
Yeah.
That right there, you could have been paralyzed for life. He came down on his head like a hammer going through a nail.
Yep.
When I saw that live, I was there at the game. I didn't think he was walking away from that.
Yeah, I can't believe he did.
So he came back in the game, which was crazy.
And he came back in the game. So do you blame now the Miami Hurricanes, who is a school for doctors, for not doing their legit work?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I mean, if you saw the post game press conference, McDaniel, he was standing in front of a U Health sign. So maybe we found the person to blame. It's U Health. It's definitely U Health.
So
Tony, what's going on, man? How you doing, brother? Thanks for coming on.
No problem, man. What's going on, gentlemen? Alex, it's always
Hey,
great
Tony.
to see you, bro. Look how much weight you've lost. You look incredible, man.
I'm trying to keep it off. I'm starting to get my Nutella cravings again. So losing it is half the battle. Keeping it off is the real challenge.
Listen, speaking of
Thank
that,
you.
I went yesterday to obviously, the girlfriend had a craving for cookies, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, here we go, right? Like if I need a damn cookie.
What kind of cookies?
We went to this place called Midnight Cookie.
I've been
You
there.
know what I'm talking about, Dono?
Yeah,
The one by
in
FI
Gainesville?
No, it's on off of Coral Wayne, like 87th Avenue.
It's like a late
something-
night spot. Like you can go there at like 2 a.m. and they're still, which is the worst time to eat cookies.
It's the worst,
yeah.
but the best as well, right? So I'm like, oh, I like this cookie. Oh, I like that cookie. Oh, we ended up getting like 8 cookies. All right. And
I mean, if you're gonna put the effort to go out there in the middle of the night, you gotta get at least.
Yeah, I know, dude. So we got like
they're like this big,
They're
right?
like this big, yeah, like this.
Yeah, but you guys are if you want the best cookies during the day, you go to the mall and you go to Miss Fields cookies.
Oh yeah, those are great.
No,
Those are awesome.
That's like a crack addict, right?
Those are really good because they're also nice and hot. But I'm telling you, these cookies were great. It was like a chocolate chip one, a baklava one, baklava cookie. It was fire.
So shout out to our new not sponsor that Jazz just gave a 30-second infomercial to.
Midnight cookie something. Whatever. We're talking about fat ass stuff, right?
Macadamia.
We'll close the sponsorship deal first. We'll eat the cookies on the air, man.
I'm gonna have to go talk to him.
We can't do that with Manscaped, but we can eat cookies.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, yeah, we can talk about Manscaped, but we're not going to. We're
not going to demonstrate Manscaped, but we can definitely eat the cookies on the
air. Man, I'm sorry, Tony. I completely cut you off, Tony, man. But those cookies were damn good. They were damn good. Yeah, don't tempt Dono with a good time with Nutella and all that crap. Can't do that to the guy, man. He's doing.
I'm
so
just
well,
concerned. I'm concerned why the Hurricane Prep included Nutella. Like, why was that on the list? Why was that?
How can you not have that, right? How can you not prep with that?
Yeah, it's always on my list of supplies. I can't. I always forget the names now, but I remember that there was one like 4 or 5 years ago that was supposed to come and it just missed us, and everybody's shopping for supplies. And my supplies were I bought a bunch of beer and 2 jars of Nutella, and that was it. Like these are my hurricane supplies.
Well, you got to do that because it's not just during the storm. It's the aftermath. You don't have power. The Publix is jammed. You can't get to the store. You need those essentials. You got to have alcohol. You got to have junk food. I mean, those are essentials.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to get through this.
When
There's nothing else to do.
I'm the wrong person to tell to go get ready for a hurricane because if I go to Publix or if I go to one of these stores, I'm not coming back with like the essentials.
Yeah,
only,
same.
Okay, I'm just not. There's no way, man. There's no way. Tony, so talk to us a little bit about what you got going on with the network. Kind of give us your take on the whole situation with the Dolphins as well, and what happened last night, because we haven't gotten your take on it yet, man.
Yeah, so look, we do a few things with the Heat. Me and Sean, in particular, we're doing Better Edge, right, which is a sports gambling app that allows you to do peer-to-peer betting in the state of Florida. It's really difficult, as you guys know, to gamble in the state of Florida in a legal capacity.
I make it look way too easy.
You do, you really do.
But use Better Edge.
I do love Better Edge, actually. It's really great.
You for us degenerates, you can find lines on Better Edge. Sometimes people are slow to react there. I've made a lot of money just on some, like San Francisco was plus 2.5. Okay, they were favorites in that game. I got them at plus 2.5 last week. So Better Edge is a great app for that. It's a great app for trying to find the edge on the line, to try and get some good odds on something that might not be trending as well in a book. We also do a halftime show called Pace and Spaces. We're going to do that every single halftime, every Miami Heat game. We're going to be on Twitter Spaces doing that. We're going to have some pregame stuff going, some postgame stuff going. So we're going to be all over the network for 5 Reasons and the YouTube.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah. We're excited about that, especially with heat season coming around. As the as the Hurricanes are struggling, hopefully they pick it up again. They've got a couple weeks to get it together. The Miami Dolphins obviously drop a tough one last night.
I pivoted to basketball. They released the times today, and I'm like, let's figure out how I'm gonna. And then I saw.
It's funny though. We'll get to Heat basketball because there is some news out of there. Too bad we don't have Ethan on right now talking about it, but it is what it is.
Well, let me just add something because Vish, you're talking about pivoting to basketball, and I know, like, obviously, at least 4 out of the 5 of us in here make Hurricanes content, so we kind of know, like, the pulse of the fan base right now, which is like, it's just a combination of like anger and sadness. But I'm going to tell you something, man, and this kind of picks up on what Tony was just talking about with Better Edge. I think a lot of Hurricanes fans are going to be surprised because I'm telling you, when the opening line comes out for North Carolina at Miami is going to be favored at home by 4 or 5 points. Like, that's just how it's going to work. Miami's going to be favored, and I know a lot of Hurricanes fans will see that. They're like, "What do you mean? If we can't beat Middle Tennessee?" Because I've seen a lot of these comments, guys. I'm sure you've gotten them as well. I have people filling up my Canes comments almost every day saying, "I don't see another win on the schedule." Like, I'm literally seeing that. People are telling me I don't see another win on the schedule. Like, okay, yeah, if Miami plays as badly as they did against Middle Tennessee, you're right. But I've got to expect at some point something's going to click. But I'm telling you, Miami will be favored by probably 4, 4.5, 5 points. Opening line against North Carolina, and there will be a lot of people who will be shocked by that because the fan base is at rock bottom right now.
By the way, and I'm sorry, before we keep it going, we actually got 2 donations straight to let me pull it up here. I'm sorry, straight to the Harry Chapin Food Bank by coworkers of mine, good friends, amazing people, Lorraine and Kenneth, who are who are here watching the show as well. They donated directly to the Harry Chapin, so big shout out to them. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Awesome. Very, very kind of you guys. We appreciate that. Lex, you want to chime in on that? Because I know you kind of shocked by that, right?
I am shocked, guys. Tony, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too, brother.
People don't know our show is not based on recruiting. We're part of the Miami Flow team. I don't do anything about recruiting, coaches, none of that. Me and my co-host AO, who has a family thing tonight, couldn't be on. Our show is Average Canes Fans. We look and talk about point of views from the average fan. We get a lot of our titles for our shows from people that email us. Hey, we want to talk about man caves. We got a show coming up on the U tattoos. We're getting a bunch of pictures from tattoos that are coming in. And it's just something different that people don't see. And I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to put this down. Miami beats UNC by at least 17 points.
Whoa. I love it.
Miami beats UNC by 17 points.
I mean, you got Dono going now. You got Dono.
And that's why I'm telling you, a lot of people are going to be calling me out. I don't care. Guys, I'm a diehard. I have my own tattoo of the Canes on my arm. We're running the board. Everybody asks me, are we going to win or lose? We're going to win every game until the game is over. But I really think Mario is going to surprise us. I think there's going to be some switches on offense. We don't know how. I think the offensive line is probably still taking Mario's shoe out of their asses because of the way they blocked. No, I love the players. One of our good friends, Shonda and George Roberts, are good friends of ours, shows up at our tailgate, Elijah Roberts. We talked on the phone after the game, and they were very honest. They will curse out their son. And I just think you're going to see a team. I think you're going to see TVD throw it down the field, get a couple of bombs, and they're just going to say, let it rip. what are you doing? Let the ball rip.
Which would make sense because and like listen, as long as TVD can find some confidence, North Carolina's defense is not good. Their secondary is not good.
The quarterback, I give them credit.
Oh, their offense is great. Like these teams may combine for 100 points. Like, you know, if Miami can.
Have you seen us? We're not combining for 100 points.
No, but I don't think.
I don't know. I'm kind of. I hate to say I'm kind of leaning that way too.
Well, so Lex has Miami by 17. Apparently, Dono has us like losing 90-10 to get the 100.
Well, but let me tell you.
Yeah, he reverse psychology himself all the time. It's awesome.
But I'm going to tell you why. The defense at the beginning of Middle Tennessee State held their own.
Yeah.
But guess what? How do you feel? DJ Ivy's been playing a lot better. Yes, he got burned. There's one game on, one game off. Put it together. Corey Flagg has been looking like a damn missile all year. You know, players that you wanted off. But what I think is if you look at the defense every game, they've been put in some bad spots in the first quarter. And they've held. Sooner or later, you keep putting in a spot, and you don't do your job, that mental breakdown happens. Yeah. And it happened.
Yeah. At some point.
But watch this. By 17. Vish, we're gonna beat their asses to the ground.
I don't know about taking a spread, but whatever that over is, I would do it. Miami's allowing 39.5 points. So is the Tar Heels. The Tar Heels offense is 8th in the FBS right now. So whatever the over on that game is, no matter where it opens up, I'm smashing it. I'm hammering that over.
I mean, if Vegas is smart, they'll set it at like 90, and then I'll be like, oh, I don't know.
I don't know, Alex. I mean,
you just confidently said 100, so 90 is giving you a buffer there.
I'm so sure.
Like, what was the Clemson Wake Forest game? Like 52-50 or
45, 52 to 45.
Yeah,
I can easily get way over
on that. Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. Donald, before we let you go here, and if anybody else has to run, feel free to run. Talk to us a little bit about Locked On Canes, what you got coming up this week as you prep for UNC, man.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to actually, within the next couple of days, to actually really have a game to talk about. We have been talking a little bit about UNC already this week, but of course, we'll get a better sense however they do against Virginia Tech this weekend, and they're pretty big favorites in that one, 9-point favorites at home. We'll see how North Carolina's defense looks, and if Drake May, just because he's averaging over 300 passing yards per game, if he can keep it going. So we'll be talking a lot about that. We're on 5 days a week on Locked On Canes. You can get the audio podcast on all the usual spots, Apple, Spotify. You can get the video version on YouTube. The schedule's been kind of all over the place this past week as I was filling it on radio, but usually we drop the YouTube episodes, go at it around 12:30 p.m. This past week, we've been talking a little bit about the quarterback situation. You can call it a controversy. I think Tyler Van Dyke is going to start again next week. I also think, limited sample size, Jake Garcia has looked better in that offense, but I still think they're going to ride with TBD next week. So a lot of quarterback talk this week, a lot of UNC scouting and talk next week.
Awesome. Make sure you guys keep it locked on to Locked On Canes there with Alex Donald.
He's a pro.
And can I chime in real quick on something?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Rasta, everybody knows Rasta.
Yes.
Rasta lives in Fort Myers. I was on the phone with him when he was getting hit, following up on my boy Rasta. I mean, the last year
there he is. Oh yeah, he's just
we became very good friends. They had like a small ditch or pond area behind his apartment complex. I'm glad he was on the second floor. It turned into a lake. Part of his complex has roofs missing. So Rasta actually went to Miami to get away because it's just he's not gonna have power for I don't know how long. So Rasta, man, thank the Lord that God bless you, brother. We're good, but Rasta got smashed really bad.
Well, Rasta, you're always in our prayers, my brother. And man, I didn't even realize he lived in Fort Myers. To be honest with you,
I didn't know that either.
I thought he was local too. So
he drives 2 hours to the stadium every game.
All the time, man. See him all the time. Yeah. So he's a trooper. You know how he is, man. So we thank you, Rasta, for everything you do for Canes on YouTube and Canes Sports period. So man, he's always a friend of the show as well. So we got him on.
Been on multiple times. Yeah.
I gotta ask this, right? Because we're all basketball fans now too, and Tony, you talked about a little bit what you do with Sean with the Heat, and I want to get your take on this. What's obviously we all follow basketball here. We're fans of different teams. I think me and you, Tony, are Heat fans. Lex is a Orlando Magic fan. Vish is Dallas Mavericks fan.
Wrong. Orlando Tragic.
Or that's
Right.
We can't win a game. But I ride it.
Are we about to enter the Luka Doncic discussion? Because I'm on for that.
Oh my! I don't know. We'll hold off for that for now.
Can I give him the MVP before the season starts?
I did.
I don't blame you. He is the truth, man. He is the truth. What's this whole talk about? Do we got a power forward or not? Who's our four?
Wait, hold on a second. You just gave him Paul Pierce's nickname. How are you going to insult my boy like that, man?
He is. Oh, stop it! I didn't even think about that. That's how much you're thinking about Paul Pierce. I'm not thinking about that at all.
I don't know, man.
That guy doesn't. That guy doesn't come.
You cannot
Listen,
call
as a
people
Heat
that.
fan, that guy doesn't register my brain.
That is an insulting nickname now because of the person that took it. So.
Stop it. Get over it. What's going on with the four, man? What's going on with the power forward situation with the Miami Heat?
I mean, they'll tell you to your face now that, you know, they have 2 4s on the roster that they feel really good about and that they're going to go to war with. So the Jimmy Butler at the 4 talk that we all convinced ourselves was happening it seems to be out the window now. Whether Spo and Jimmy are kind of effing with us or not, I'm not 100% sure. We're going to find out pretty soon. But it looks like they're going to war with Caleb. And, you know, you got to just expect Spo to be able to play with the rotations enough to make it work.
Are you comfortable with the rotation? Are you comfortable with the players that we have now that we can compete in? I almost said the AFC, by the way, in the in the East. Are you comfortable with that?
I think if we were competing in the AFC West, we'd have a lot of trouble. But in the NBA Eastern Conference, we can go to war, man. I think there's 2 things to kind of factor into play. One, that, you know, we're way more flexible at the trade deadline than we were this offseason. The kind of talent that we have going into trade deadline that's available to be moved is going to make our options wider, right? So if we still need a 4 come that point, we can really look into getting that. You'll have Dwayne Dedmon's contract, who is signed to be moved. You'll have Duncan Robinson still under contract. And you'll have a first-round pick that you were trying to move this offseason now. So that's the trade package that you could float out there to try and get somebody then. And the second thing is, while PJ Tucker was incredibly impactful for this organization and incredibly impactful for us in our playoff run, the things that he did defensively hindered some of what we wanted to do on the offensive side of the court. What they really want to get to is a free-flowing motion offense that takes advantage of Bam and Jimmy's gravity going towards the basket and just open up shots for other people. You know, you hear Tyler talking about what he can do as a defender and a catch-and-shoot player in his meetings, right? That's what he talked about primarily in his interviews. That's because that dude's going to be on the court and shoot the ball. I mean, he's not doing nothing else but shooting the ball, extending the basket back behind the break, trying to get as many open shots for Jimmy and Bam as humanly possible, create as much space for those 2 guys to run offense through. So I think that they kind of look at this squad as smaller, easier to run. Spo says every year he wants to play with pace, and then we are the last in pace every single year. So I don't know what that means anymore, but hopefully we go small, we play with motion, and we're trying to get teams, we're trying to get them played off the court just with speed.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting that you mentioned pace, right? Because you've got some guys on this team that can definitely play that style of basketball, but then you got some guys that are a little bit older that aren't necessarily, set
a little
bit older, just a little bit older,
just a little.
That aren't set up for that style of play. So that kind of concerns me a little bit sometimes with just, not necessarily at the beginning of a game, but maybe towards the end. However, though, you've got the bench that you can bring in guys like Tyler, Max, Duncan, depending on who's going to start, right, from those guys. But I think you've got enough of a bench that you can kind of bring in and play that pace at the end of games. Again, Spo is so Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to this lineup, where he can kind of throw out so many different, looking lineups at you. So I think that's going to be interesting. But I will tell you this: I think it's going to be important for them to establish somebody else that can play with Jimmy and with Bam. And look, I still I'm sure I'm like every other Heat fan. I still got to see a little bit more from Bam, right? I think a lot of people are not completely sold yet on him because there's times where he flashes absolute, you want to say he's one of the top guys at his position, but he also sometimes kind of disappears a little bit, right? So, like you mentioned, maybe it's just what they're trying to do on offense. doesn't really mesh well with what PJ Tucker was trying to do on defense and so on. You probably know a little bit better than I do about that, but this is
what about these Tyler trade rumors that I keep hearing every year? You think they're going to finally do something about that?
You can answer that.
No. This year? No. I think
degenerate that gave us some money. Who is this guy?
shout out to that guy.
Yeah, well, I don't know. This guy looks suspect.
He is suspect.
Without any comment, just putting money on him.
That's all I do, bro. Just throw it out there. Throw the bread out there.
Tyler would have been, I think, on the block if Donovan Mitchell would have lasted another year at Utah and then became was trying to be shopped again in next offseason. But you have a guy right now that's under contract. He's young. He's an asset. He's portable all up and down your roster. And he's, once he's cost control, he's going to be appealing to other teams down the line. You can extend him now and then look to trade him at some point later. So it's one of those things you just lock up. Duncan Robinson was a great piece like that. I feel like that contract takes so much crap from fans, not realizing that losing that contract failure. Think of all these moves, right? All these trades every Heat fan wanted to get done this offseason. Every single one of them needed Duncan Robinson to happen because he's the only salary that we had on the team this offseason. Outside of him, it was $5 million for Tyler and $1 million for every other guy on the team. Without Duncan's $16, $17 million, we couldn't have made a trade happen this offseason. Mm-hmm. So you need filler on the roster, Lex. At some point, you have cost-controlled young athletes. I think that there's no doubt in my mind Tyler gets extended, that he's on this team for the foreseeable future, especially right now, because Bam needs every inch of space he can get. To Jazz's point, you want him to be more efficient. I hear some people calling for 5, 6, 7 more field goal attempts. I don't care about that at all. Yeah. The only thing I want to see
for sure. It's
efficiency. Yeah.
Now, if you guys don't mind, I have a question for Tony.
Oh, go away.
I mean, you cover the NBA. You probably know more than just the Heat. Is there any hope for my Tragic? Any hope, please?
Oh, Lex, listen, you're gonna love this take. You ready?
Because Mo Bamba is not the answer.
No, he's not. But you know who is? Franz and Paulo. Franz is an explosive, just fundamentally savant. I mean, he plays a beautiful game of basketball. If you ever watch Franz Wagner play, he does everything that you'd want from that kind of guy with that kind of size and that.
You know who he reminds me of? Who? He's not maybe not the status. He reminds me of a Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Dirk. He's one of my favorite players.
Yo. Comment down there a little bit.
That's the Maverick fan talking about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to
You don't just go straight to the top.
You know who he reminds me of that used to be a number 2 guard for the Magic a long time ago? Remember Courtney Lee?
Yeah.
So Courtney Lee, on the other side of this laptop, I've got his signed jersey that he signed for me. I was a season ticket holder for a long time. But yeah, Franz reminds me of like a Dirk Nowitzki. He just seems to just do everything right. That guy's going to be a superstar in 5 or 6 years.
I think so too, and I think Paulo just makes him better. He can do everything on the floor. He just has to get into spots that his efficiency is cranked up. He had the ball a lot in his hands this year. It's going to be taken out of his hands now with Paulo. There's no doubt that he's a better playmaker. So he has to show that he can play without the ball and he can get to his spots and create offense. I don't think he's a catch and shoot type guy. I want to see him going to the basket, finding the big man off the bounce. I want to see him in a short corner. I want to see Franz doing all the things that he didn't do this year off ball.
Do you like that pick? Do you like that Paulo pick? Because I had actually liked the center from Auburn that went, I think, 2 or 3. I forgot his name, but do you like that Paulo pick? Remember the Auburn kid? He went 2nd or 3rd. Big old guy, 6'11". But
yeah, the white kid,
I remember. Right? No.
The black guy was from Gonzaga, I think it was.
We're talking about not Chet, right?
Smith.
No, so yes.
Jabari Smith, I think his name.
Yes. Last seen, being shoved in the locker by the Hurricanes in the
state
tournament. Shut his ass down.
They did,
but he is good. He is
good, but that was the easiest tournament game we played.
To solidify the middle, and you could have got Mamba, got some trade exception for him, but they went with now seeing this Brazilian guy from Duke on the preseason. I was like, okay, I was like, wow, I was kind of impressed.
Yeah, he can play.
Yeah, you gotta think about your future. I think with that, you look at Paulo. I don't know if you guys watched any summer league at all. I really doubt it. Only like real sickos like me are watching NBA summer league.
I watched a little bit. I actually saw Magic's game, and I saw him ball. I saw Paulo ball a little bit.
He has so much balance. I mean, to come into the league as a kid his age and be able to shoot off the platform at his size and really you can't interfere with his shot. I mean, Giannis is probably the one guy that can get in his way and get him off his base. That's a dude that you can play every single night, and you can play with any other players around him. He's the pick, Lex. Don't waver on it. He's the pick. He was the guy. It's the right player to get. He's just not going to flash, I don't think. I think he's like one of these 12.6 and 6 guys for his first year, but that's okay because the Magic have the infrastructure. Wendell Carter, Franz, like these are dudes that I think are going to give you a winning record this year.
I believe
for that.
I was actually Wendell Carter's house last week. We did some work for him. So really nice guy, man, down to earth.
He said.
So, well, I appreciate you answering my question, Tony. Sorry, Jazz and Vish.
No, man, Lex getting his Magic fix right here.
No, it snapped me out of a funk because Tony said 5 or 6 more field goals, and I thought he was talking about Gaddis's offense for a second. My head almost exploded. He was talking about Bam getting more shots up. Thank God. For a second, I was like, Jesus, I can't take any more field goals.
What do you guys think happened on those missed field goals this past? It just looked.
One was low trajectory, right?
Offense brought it into the spot, and I've been happy with our special teams. That's been one of the brightest spots. I mean, we've been killing us, but man, those field goals, it's almost like, hey, when he goes to kick, hey man, all right, we got 3 points, we're good. I'm like,
right, should be, but he's got that low trajectory. Then the other one, I think they just got lazy on that line blocking, and somebody got through, and I think that's it was really sad to watch, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's got to practice that, right? Maybe Andy's got to practice how to get a little higher trajectory on his kicks.
I'd prefer we score touchdowns.
Yeah, well, so it would be point after.
Can we start doing that?
Can we like extra points? We don't mind extra points.
No, extra points. I'll take
extra points. How about some more extra points in less field?
You'll score touchdowns against UNC's defense. It is god awful.
You guys you all have a lot of confidence for an offense that
you know what? You got to put out that good energy out there, man. I think TVD is going to come out with a fire lit under his ass, and he's going to throw 4 touchdowns, 350 yards passing, and Frank Latz is going to go like 10 for 120. I don't know about that. I was going a little too far with that one. I went a little too far.
Yeah, once you started to figure out who was going to catch these passes, that's where I ran into trouble.
Maybe I went a little too far. We still got a good running game. Although, what's going to happen?
Running backs?
Yeah, I was about to say, what's going to happen with our running game, right? Like, is Parrish going to be healthy enough? Is Rooster going to be healthy enough?
We were down to one back. We were down to one scholarship back.
Thad, please get him into a groove.
I know.
I mean, we didn't have a choice. We didn't have a choice in the last game because no one else was even healthy. So.
I like that too. I really do like that. But I think that there's certain things that some of the other backs do a little bit better than him.
Oh, they do.
But I love that. I think, but Gaddis is not using them that way.
But when we all said, we as a University of Miami for the last 20, 30 years have been known for our athletes. Our athletes purely from Miami. We don't go to Wisconsin and get those grass, hay-fed big boys. That's never going to be Miami.
Right.
But the way we blocked against A&M was like crazy. It was like crazy, bro. I'm thinking, let Thad pound those safeties. Nobody wants to tackle Thad in the 3rd or 4th quarter when they're tired. But the man has to get into a groove too. You can't bring him.
We got to get them tired, right? We got to get them tired, though, right? Yeah, I'm with you.
A bit of a breaking news announcement. If you watch Inter Miami, they just scored in the 89th minute. They've been scoring like in the last few minutes of every game, and they're probably going to make the playoffs now. So
TBD throws for 350 yards.
350
touchdowns.
350. All right, so you got 3 touchdowns, Jazz. You got 4.
I got 4 touchdowns.
All right.
Okay, 350 plus, 3 to 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I say we return either a punt or a kickoff. We run it back or close to it.
I'll take it.
We win by 17. Right
oh wait, David's in the house. He's another Lex fan. David, I heard that you were going to donate something to the hurricane relief fund.
No, he can't. I'll tell you right now. David lives in Bradenton.
Oh,
it took me.
Well, I forget that you got a lot of people up there. Yeah, Central Florida.
So David, guys, he just got in touch with us It was
Oh,
48
no.
hours of me calling him, David, you okay? You okay? He has his kids and his wife. They got even hammered. He said he just got in touch with us last night. David, dog.
Wow. Well, we're glad you're doing well, David.
Lex
Glad
is
you're
the
doing
most
well.
sober drunk guy. Who says I'm sober?
I know, right? Don't assume, all right? Twitter doctor, Gary Cabot, Twitter doctor.
I mean, I was drinking on the post game show, so maybe they said they don't see the
We
alcohol.
started drinking on Wednesday. I don't know if we stopped yet.
Yeah, unbelievable. By the way, this was great because Lex got his NBA fix. We got our NBA fix as well.
Thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you.
I mean, we don't
appreciate
get
you guys.
we don't get to talk about that stuff, obviously, because this is a Canes show. But you know, I truly appreciate everybody that came on today, everybody that did donate, that was able to, whether it was through the super chat or directly with one of those charities. If we can kind of, you know, for any of the rewatch crew that's going to watch this either tonight or tomorrow, we'll post it again. But make sure you guys check us out. Vish, mention the charities again that we are actually donating all this monetary, anything that you guys can provide.
Yeah, so one of them is a food bank. It's the acronym is FISH, Friends in Service, or Friends and I forget what the acronym is, but it's FISH, and it's a food bank specifically for Sanibel Island and Captiva Island, which got
Friends in Service Here. I thought
Friends
that's
in
what it was.
Service Here.
Yeah.
I wanted to say now, but I was like, that's Fizzin, and it was FISH, and okay, all right, Friends in Service Here. And so yeah, that is a food bank for Sanibel Island, Captiva Island, which are basically completely destroyed. And then the next one is the Harry Chapin Food Bank, which covers kind of all of Southwest Florida. It's another food bank. And then the last one is Valerie's House, which helps kids get through trauma, displaced kids who've lost parents, and unfortunately some kids probably lost their parents as part of this as well. So we wanted to make sure we had them on the list for a potential donation. So those are the three we selected. We intentionally focused on locally controlled, you know, that are actually just work in that area, to make sure that we figured they would have a better idea of where the bigger needs are and be able to help there.
We got another donation from another anonymous donator. No, my girlfriend did. To both the Henry Chapin and to Friends in Service, I believe, or was it Valerie's? I'm not sure, but I gotta double check. But she donated as well. So
shout out to Shana.
Yeah,
you didn't name check her. You just kept her in the bag.
Yeah, I try to keep her. You know, she doesn't like to be in the limelight, so you know, that's appreciated. She's low key. She's low key.
Well, see, you're the one who has to. I don't have any responsibilities there, so I can name check.
Yeah, you guys can name check. That's fine. That's fine. I try to keep it low key because then when I get off of here, she's like, "Why do you gotta mention my name?" And I'm like,
"Well,
all right.
See, this is even better because now you can just blame it on me."
Yeah,
so
exactly. I'll just say it's Vicious fault. She'll be like, "All right, it's cool. So, by the way, for anybody that's coming down for that UNC game, I don't know, Lex, if you're gonna be down here for the game.
Oh, bro, I'll be there Friday.
Nice.
Golf during the day. We're floating them.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, Vish and I are actually running I guess you can call it a small marathon. I don't even know what it's called. It's a 5K and a 10K. I'm running the 5K. Vish is running the 10K over at the zoo on Saturday morning. I don't know how I'm doing it, but Sheena's already telling me that she wants to walk the whole damn thing. I'm like, come on, man, let me run a little bit for the love of God. But then we'll be out there tailgating as well for the UNC.
Yeah, that 4 p.m. kick time.
That was perfect. That was clutch.
Right in the sweet spot.
We'll be up at 7 in the morning to go earlier than that to go run. Who does that?
I'll be parked in the green light gate by 9 a.m.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about.
I didn't ask you to do it, Jazz. You volunteered.
I know.
And told me at like 2 in the morning. He tells me, he's like, I'm trying to fill this form out. What's a corral? I'm like, dude, I'm sleeping. What the hell are you doing?
I'm nocturnal, bro. I'm a damn vampire, man.
That's a true story. It wasn't. I don't know if it was 2. It was way past midnight.
It was definitely past midnight for sure. Tony, before we head on out of here, man, let them know where they can find you on social media, shows, everything. Talk to them.
Yeah, bro. Everything on social media is pretty simple. It's Tony Schwartz NBA. That's Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, the whole shebang. I just got it all under one tag, trying to make people's life simple. I'll be doing halftime spaces on Twitter. So as long as you follow 5 Reasons Sports, you're going to see our halftime spaces there. I just urge everybody on Twitter, like everyone else that's come on the show today, take Richard Sherman's advice in the first half. He said, I don't want to speculate. I hate to do it. just stop right there. Just don't speculate. Just stop right there. Don't even. I keep it going. So that's my take on the whole Tua situation.
It's like saying no offense, but I'm going to offend you anyways.
Yeah, it was. I thought that broadcast was so irresponsible. We can.
And
shut
you
the
saw
show
you
down.
saw
I
it in
just wanted
Tony
to put it out
Gonzalez's
there.
face, right? You saw it in Tony Gonzalez's face.
Yeah, Tony's
hey.
giving me a bad name, bro. I wanted to legally change it after last night.
Oh man, we appreciate it, Tony. Lex, let them know, man.
Guys, MiamiFlowMedia.com is our website. I'm part of the Flow team, guys. I'm one of the co-hosts of the Average Canes Fans Show. We have our Facebook page. We have our Twitter pages. Shows Monday at 5:30. We call it the pre-Monday Night Football show to get your fix while you're getting the grill ready and everything. Talk a little bit of Canes. Much credit to Jazz and Fish, what you guys did today and the time you took off to help people. It's a blessing. If you don't mind me reiterating, the Flow team is doing exact same. All donations on our show through all of next week, 100% of it is going towards to help the hurricane victims. So please donate on all these shows. Everybody here does this on their time. I don't get paid for it. I do it for the love of our Canes and anything to support. So I do appreciate you bringing me on, guys. It's been a blessing. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, we do appreciate it. By the way, Jack Dan is a big F1 fan.
Shout out to
the
Hitting the Apex F1 show,
From
our
the
other show.
From the Bring Money
Yes.
back from the Bring Money back to the F1 show fund. Listen,
We have not.
we'll be back.
So
it's not our fault. It's not our
it's
fault.
not our fault. We're getting blamed for this. Like, she's an actual reporter, so she's actually in Southwest Florida right now covering the storm. So that's where she is. So she keeps getting pulled into stuff that
That matters
professional people
more.
do.
That matters more than
So unfortunately, she's been absent for a few shows, but she's still on the show. She will be back.
She'll be back. Hopefully next Wednesday we'll preview another one. So make sure you guys keep it locked. Thank you everybody. And by the way, thanks Jack for the dono as well, man. We appreciate everybody that joined the show. Dono, Ethan, Tony, Lex, you all are a blessing as well, man. We truly appreciate you taking some time on a Friday. And for the Rewatch crew, thank you guys for watching. You can still donate when the show is done. We will have the links on the description, so you make sure you check it out there. We'll post the links a little bit later on Twitter as well. We'll post it all throughout the weekend also, so you guys can go ahead and donate there as well. Anything we can do to help the people of Southwest Florida and some of Central Florida as well. We'll
it'll also be on our podcast feed. We
Yes.
just switched over to working with Fanside on Red Circle, so you'll see it there as well and can donate through that as well.
Absolutely.
And if there's any volunteer crews, any work crews that people are organizing, please get at me. I'm going to be going down to Fort Myers in 2 days. You actually can't really get down there right now. It's only emergency.
Right.
CNA,
For people that live there, right?
Yeah. So as they start to open that up, get at me. I'll be going down there trying to do as much repair and recovery of people as I can.
We may do something. So I'll let you know, Tony. Me and
Same thing. I do have some friends down there. I'm gonna actually be helping some people down there rebuild. So you know what, Jazz? I'll get with you and maybe get with Tony because when I'm gonna go down there in about maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks once it's cleared up to get down there. But when I make the trip to follow on people, I'm gonna pack up the trailer and the truck and pass out as much as I can. So if there's any way to help people down there, I'll be coming from Central
Hey
Florida.
man, let's do something. Yeah, for sure. We'll do something down here, do something up there, and maybe we can.
I'll know not next week,
Okay.
not UNC week, but the week after that. I'll let you know what days, and maybe we want to do some kind of drive where hey, pack up. I don't know if you guys see my truck, but it's a big diesel truck. We got the trailer. Maybe we can do some kind of drive. Hey, pack it up. Let's do some kind of pack fundraiser.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go down there and distribute.
Definitely. And Jack, by the way, good point, man. We'll definitely want to do something like that because Sheena's a big advocate for pets and animals. So I'm sure we'll get involved with that as well.
We'll take dog food, whatever we can do.
Whatever it takes. We'll be doing something. Let's get together, Lex and Tony and Vish, and we'll see. We'll definitely put something together.
Can we donate our wrong orange colored T-shirts in case people need clothes?
God, for real, we might have to.
No one's buying them. They're the wrong orange.
Shout out
They're UT
to
orange.
shout out to Ethan for getting us burnt orange T-shirts, man.
They showed up. I'm like, that is not the right orange. So we just wear the
Serious?
black ones now. So we got
Yeah.
these orange Six Strings Cage shirt. You know, it'll be like when the team loses the championship game. They do
You know what? I'll take one if you got nothing to do with it.
They're all yours, Lex. They're all
Yeah,
yours.
there we go. There
You,
you go.
you can just become a Syracuse fan real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no kidding, man. Oh boy. Make sure you follow us every Monday night as well on the Six Rings Kane Show at 8:30 p.m. We will be previewing UNC.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then we got pre and post game too. Before
We got
and
pre and post game on Saturday, and we also have F1 hitting the Apex on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. And that'll be fun because Jack will have Moni back. Okay, stop it already.
Yeah, well, she'll show back up eventually.
Appreciate everybody coming out. Again, Lex, Tony, Ethan, Alex, and everybody else. We do appreciate it. It's all about the U. Go Canes, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Adios.
Later, guys.